The internet is going crazy. It's going crazy. And it's saying, when you play the JBL Charge 6 or the JBL Flip 7 or even the Harman Luna 2 all have the same DSP. Yes, Harman and JBL are owned by Samsung. They're basically in bed with each other from the same family.
Oh my God, stop, bro, I'm stuck. Can you help me?
People are saying I can hear distortion going on in the high end, and they're saying on certain stereo tracks getting artifacts, and it sounds like it's distorting. But when we switch it to mono, all the problems go away. It's like absolute magic, abracadabra, mono go away. Well, what is going on? Well, as some people are saying, it's a bug, and it's a problem with the stereo down mix. And they're saying, it's nothing to do with stereo enhancement. But have they tested it properly? Or are they just putting out quick facts, as I mentioned, they did before with the JBL power adapter? So I figured, we need to see what is really going on and do proper testing. We don't just say things on this channel, we actually test them. If there's a problem with the JBL power adapter, we buy the power adapter, we measure it, and then we say what's going on.
Good job.
Yeah, I want to see what's exactly going on. There is no doubt when some, it's not everybody. And I have to say, I've gone through the tracks in several different places because it's on Reddit. There's Reddit's threads about this as well as on a YouTube channel. Using their tracks, I'm not getting that distortion or artifact they're hearing. But what I can do is verify the other things they're noting, but they're coming to a wrong conclusion, in my opinion. But I've tested it. I haven't just sat down and said it goes from bad in stereo, okay in mono, that's the problem with the down mixing. Because the real world don't work like that. You actually have to put pen to paper and work out the actual facts. So here's what we do. Uncorrelated pink noise. What is that? Oh, that is random, different left and right frequencies playing at the same time. It should all even out, down mix nicely. When you do that with the Charge 6, Flip 7, Harman Luna 2, you can hear quite clearly. Well, I'll have a listen and then we'll talk about it. You can clearly hear there is processing going on. You can clearly hear there is stereo manipulation going on. There is psychoacoustic manipulation. The clue is, the giveaway is that it sounds brighter beforehand, and then you switch it to mono on your device. Everything collapses, and it suddenly sounds less bright. In fact, what is really going on is 200 hertz and down, it's summing absolutely correctly. There's nothing wrong with the down mixing. 200 hertz and above, when you're playing uncorrelated pink noise, when there is a difference between the left and the right channel, the speaker is doing DSP stereo enhancement, psychoacoustics. That's resulting in stronger mids and highs. It's making it sound brighter. When you go to mono, that processing collapses and you get a weaker frequency response, 200 hertz and above. The difference is between 1.5 to 2.5 decibels. And that's why when you switch from stereo to mono on your device, you're collapsing that processing 200 hertz and above. The extra stereo information is collapsing. You're getting a less bright track using psychoacoustics, DSP manipulation to make it sound a little bit phasey, a little bit like it's bigger than it is. Did the same thing on the JBL Charge 5. It's got different processing. We know, we've already talked about issues with AI Sound Boost, so-called AI Sound Boost, their current method of DSP. We have noted in the past on this channel, it seems to make things harsher and brighter. That seems to be the signature of this AI Sound Boost. And as we can see, it is manipulating the mids and the highs. it was noted on another channel that, oh, magically the mids come back. But actually what's happening is it's being summed differently. There's no bug going on here. They said it's a bug. It's being summed differently because they are adding psychoacoustics and phase manipulation. When you switch into mono, the spatial processing collapses. The mids suddenly become more centered, more focused, more solid. Not because artifacts have gone away, but because of the way the processing works. You're getting a weaker response in the mids and the highs now. Relative to the mids and the highs, the bass is a little bit stronger, perceptually, to the ears. So the Charge 5 sums absolutely as you would expect. Stereo mix and the mono mix works out basically the same overall along a complete track, which is not the case on the Charge 6. We know absolutely what's going on is the DSP, which is happening before the downmixing. This ain't a bug with the downmixing. This is stereo enhancement. This is an intended feature of the speaker. The fact that not everybody is getting that is a clue. There must be differences on hardware. I mean, I've heard these other examples. It clearly is. And they're saying distorted, but these are artifacts. These are a problem with the way the DSP is actually ending up. And it's not on every speaker and it's not every track. It's not a bug. The bass is left untouched. It's not a bug. And it's not a bug in the downmixing. It's a problem. It's an issue with how the DSP is literally working on some speakers, and that's the point. I don't get it. It's on some speakers. We know JBL do different hardware on different versions. My version of the JBL Charge 6 is GG version. I'd like to know what all the other versions are. Not everybody talks about what version they've got. Geographically, they can be different. By serial number, those letters can be different. We know they do different hardware. So not just the material of the drivers, could well be differences in the internal hardware, the actual DSP itself, the chips they're using. So if anything, the DSP needs tweaking. But I've got to say, it's not a bug with the downmixing that they're suddenly going to fix in firmware. It's going to be more subtle than that. When you play left-right headphone test tracks on this mono, but tweet a woofer, you can hear it's manipulating the two different drivers to try and give some sense of spatial separation. Just the fact that the left and the right, I mean, it's pretty close, but you can hear there's differences in how it's been presented. They are trying to do really, really clever things that they never did on the JBL Charge 5. You won't get that issue on the JBL Charge 5 because they're not doing the stereo enhancement. It is stereo enhancement. That is where the problem is. That happens before the downmix actually comes into effect, and that's not a bug. That's intended characteristics of the speaker that some speakers, some hardware is having an issue with. Is it the hardware? But more likely, there could be some differences on the chips they're using, or something internal where there's different. But everybody who's saying they've got distortions needs to start saying what actual version of the Charge 6 or the Flip 7 or the Harman Kardon Luna they're getting. And also, let's all start sharing the tracks on which you're hearing the issues. I said, I've gone through those tracks that people are hearing the issues. I'm not getting it on my GG UK. A JBL Charge 6 in the road. So if you can hear this clearly, before and after tracks, my test track recorded before and after, you can clearly hear the bass, 200 hertz and down, absolutely as it was, and then the mids and the highs, which is the directional bit where it's being manipulated. this was a bug in the down mixing, it wouldn't be as consistent against right across the mids and the highs. It would be a little bit more random. The instability would be more obvious. That's my take on it. Just to say, I do not have that issue. I have gone through the tracks again, just hammer that point home. So people who have got this problem, let's start talking about the actual tracks you're getting the issue on and what version of the Charge 6, and indeed your geographical location, and see if there's a consistency starts showing that way. And one other really important thing, if it's having an issue at all, it's deciding what to do with the stereo and how to enhance it before it hits the down mix, which means you need to make sure on your device you literally have no sound enhancements going at all. I know a lot of you like to put your Atmos on. If you're someone who's getting distortion, try making sure all audio enhancements are off before you start just flicking between the stereo, between the mono on and off selector. And if indeed you find you've had enhancements on, and that's helped to clean up the sound a little bit more, let us know in the comments. But yeah, calling it a simple bug in the down mixing, that comes down to not taking the time to actually do proper testing in the real world before you start putting out facts on the internet where people pick it up and they run with it. So yeah, that's been my take. I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope to see you in another video. Yes! I'm sure there'll be another video coming, but not today. So it did not work that fast because I've been doing proper testing. It takes time. That's why some people do not do it. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you again.
What the f was that?
It comes from China.
My speaker's got deep bass, balanced mids, and a bright high.
Yes, mine sounds exactly the same.